Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jordan from Scale History SLC, bringing you one last battle report for 2020. All things considered, there have not been many battle reports from me in 2020, if any. Been a hell of a year, but I got a fun one for you tonight. Now, previous reports that I've let out have been pretty edited and a little bit scripted, so tonight I just really wanted to focus in on actually enjoying the game. So I'm going to take a page out of Texas Bold Action's book, a little bit of Tabletop CP, just some channels who have done this right. So this is going to be more of a turn-by-turn report, but I think it's going to be pretty interesting. So here's what we got going tonight. This is Vietnam. Vietnam Bold Action, although it's not 1968. We're actually in 1945. We've got a Japanese garrison here in Vietnam, and we have Viet Minh guerrillas trained by OSS agents coming to just cause some trouble for them. So the mission tonight we're going to be playing is Manhunt. We're going to have the Japanese defending, setting up in this kind of tank area where they're doing repairs. We got a bombed out French villa that's just all rubble now. But yeah, so we'll have a Japanese captain who is inspecting the tanks and the work being done here, and the Viet Minh are going to come in and try and capture him. So let's talk about the terrain briefly. Like I said, we've got this center. Nice. So here's the center of the board with the tank depot. This is where the Japanese are going to be deploying. Obviously tanks and walls are all hard cover. We've got this abandoned French villa. It's going to be hard cover and it's going to be rough ground because it's ruins. If we look elsewhere, we've got hard cover for these mounds of earth. Hard cover for kind of like, this is like the entrance gate to get into the depot. Over here we have a rice paddy field. This is soft cover, but also rough ground, just wet and sloppy and hard to get through. Over here we've just got some long grass represented by kind of this hay colored carpet. This is going to be soft cover if you're in it, and visibility only up to 4 inches in. After that you are not visible. We'll give you soft cover. And then any of this freestanding grass is also going to be soft cover. And then we got a hill up here that's going to give you soft cover if you're on it. All right, that's the terrain. Let's look at the armies. All right, first up, let's look at the attacking force. This is 1945 Viet Minh with OSS Deer Team. This is my newest army, and I'm going to do a army overview video of them as soon as I can. But for now, I'll just give you a brief history. So the Viet Minh were Ho Chi Minh's communist guerrillas that were working in Vietnam when the Japanese invaded. In 1945, the OSS parachuted in 7 U.S. agents to help train, equip, just lend aid to the guerrillas in their fight against the Japanese, and also gather intelligence. So those 7 agents are represented. So let's go through this really quick. So first up, we got 3 8-man guerrilla squads. They're all veteran, and that's more representing just their knowledge of the jungle and guerrilla warfare, more than them actually being combat veterans. But each one is 8 men with a OSS agent as an NCO. Here we've got 8 submachine guns. This is 7 rifles with 1 LMG, and then 8 rifles. Up here we have a first lieutenant, and then a air observer and a buddy. In real life, the air observer represents the guy who was in command of the OSS agents, but he often called in airstrikes for Ho Chi Minh. So we have an air observer. We've got a bazooka team, a medium machine gun team, a medium mortar, We have a captured Chiha, so that's going to be inexperienced. Instead of using the unreliable rule, we're going to give it fuel shortage. Just seems to make more sense. And a captured Japanese truck. So that's about 850, 860 points for the attackers there. And they are built using the partisan selector. It's the closest thing we could find to something that works for the Viet Minh. All right, and here we have the defenders, the Japanese. So this kind of represents a garrison force. Vietnam wasn't exactly a hot spot in the war, so I'd like to think their best troops were elsewhere. They have more dice than the Viet Minh, but actually about 50 fewer points. So let's start. We've got 2 6-man militia squads, so they're going to be inexperienced. They're definitely just on garrison duty. Here we've got a 10-man regular squad, mostly rifles and an LMG. We have a 9-man grenadier squad with 3 light mortars. We got a medium mortar in the back, anti-tank rifle. We got a Type 72 infantry gun. Here's a lieutenant, kind of in charge of the garrison at the moment. And then here's the captain coming to inspect the garrison. He's also the target, the Viet Minh. We have a medium machine gun. We've got a little tankette and a AA truck. So everything is regular except for these 2 inexperienced squads over here. So that's going to be 12 dice to the Viet Minh's 10. Again, that's 50 points less because they're defending. All right, let's get into it. All right, so as I'll be playing the Japanese and defending, I get to set up half my forces. So I wanted to show you my deployment really quick. So I've got a 6-man inexperienced squad over here, as well as another 6-man inexperienced squad over here. They're on garrison duty, kind of just protecting the captain here, who is being led through the inspection by the lieutenant. So that's 4 units there, right in the center. Over here in the destroyed villa, we've got a MMG up in the window, just with a nice overlook. And we've also got my medium mortar team. So that's 6 of my dice. That's half my units on the table. Vehicles are not allowed to be deployed on the table. But also remember that in Manhunt, reserves will come from any table edge as long as a enemy unit has not come in on that table edge previously. So it's going to be a little bit wild. Looking forward to a good game, and then once Andrew gets here, we'll get rolling. All right, after turn 1, here's what we have. Prep Bombardment came in and put a couple pins on my units that were deployed, but nothing crazy. We had 1 8-man squad with SMGs coming in the rice fields, or the long grass rather. We had an unreliable Chiha come in and take some shots at the mortar to no avail. And then we had this 8-man squad with an LMG come in and take shots at my MMG, who sprang his ambush, and on Super 6s took out one rifleman from that squad. And then the only other thing that really happened was this inexperienced squad also activated, took 3 shots over here needing Super 6s, got 1, and took out another guy. So this squad lost 2, and the Japanese have not suffered any casualties yet. So this is what the table looks like after turn 1, and we'll be back after turn 2. We're back after turn 2. Let's start over here. The Japanese had an anti-tank rifle team come in and take a shot at the Chiha. Just bounced it off the armor. gave them a pin. And then this last Viet Minh squad came in and wiped them out pretty quick. We had the rest of the Viet Minh come in. I don't think they dealt any casualties.
The tank, the howitzer,
yeah.
fired at the machine gun.
Big
Probably
thing.
the big.
Yeah, inexperienced tank hit the machine gun with the howitzer on a 6, but only managed to kill 1. Put a couple pins on him, but yeah, rolled 2 1s. That wound, that's no good. But we got the air observer that came in. He's got a view of pretty much everything. Over here, the SMG squad moved up towards the center of the table, and the bazooka team came on. And then on the Japanese side, we had a little dueling with the fates, as these 2 vehicles came on and went right over a partisan IED, but it did not go off for either of them, and it is actually found to be a dud, so we're safe over there now. Japanese howitzer ran on the table over here to watch down the field over here. And then, yeah, back in the ruins, the NX squad moved over here to cover their left flank. And the captain is still in the center. He's not too worried about getting shot at yet. So that's turn 2. Not a lot of blood yet, but turn 3 is coming. After turn 3, things are closing in. We'll start back over here. Veteran 8-man guerrilla squad fired on the medium mortar. Took out another guy. He's down to 1 crew member, but he stayed in the game. And then the captured Chiha tank has moved up. Also fired at the mortar and the squad over here, but did not managed to do any hits because he's inexperienced. This squad of regulars tempted fate again, ran onto the IED, but I think a 4 was rolled, so it's still around, but it did not explode. Otherwise, over here we just had the inexperienced squad kind of shore up their defenses against the Viet Minh on the hill. The mortar took a shot at the SMG squad, did not hit. Lieutenant and captain moved over here to get out of the center and give the inexperienced squad some help. The medium machine gun probably fired at somebody. Do you remember? I think
it fired at these guys.
Fired at these guys. I think just put a pin on them.
Yeah, that's correct.
Andrew ran his medium machine gun up to this soft cover. Back here, the mortar fired on my machine gun, did not hit. So the Japanese vehicles moved up. The little tankette moved up and fired. The SMGs didn't do anything. The last dice of the game, the round, the AA truck moved up and took out the Viet Minh bazooka squad. So they're toast. And then finally, this regular squad advanced and fired their light mortars at the SMG squad, but did not hit. So the Viet Minh are closing in, but the Japanese still have more troops.
And the airstrike.
Oh, the airstrike, yeah. So we got the airstrike called in right here. We're gonna resolve it, and then we'll be back. All right, we've resolved the airstrike, and unfortunately Andrew rolled a 1, which meant I got to place the target and where the plane was coming in. So I marked his little Chiha because he captured it from my Japanese forces, so a little revenge. Landed 5 pins, which is probably better than the actual damage I did because I immobilized the tank. But that was probably going to happen anyways because of his fuel shortage rule. But he is down, so that's nice. Gave 1 pin to the squad back here, 1 pin to the observer, and then 1 pin to this inexperienced squad for being close to the tank. So could have been better for Andrew, could have been worse, but we move on. End of turn 4, things don't seem to be going the way of the Viet Minh, but we'll start over here. This veteran infantry squad took 2 casualties from this regular squad, but then fired back and killed 2 Japanese. The tank has been immobilized from the airstrike. Back here, the medium mortar dropped a mortar round right onto the machine gun team and obliterated them. They're gone. I think the medium machine gun for the Viet Minh fired at the Japanese one before it was toast. This Viet Minh squad passed an orders test to run with 3 pins and ran up here to get in position to assault the little tankette here. The very brave OSS lieutenant ran up and took shots at this inexperienced squad who were behind the wall. They took a casualty, and then when they tried to activate, they foobarred and ran back 12 inches. The air observer went down because of their pin. This squad of Viet Minh was taking pins, and they went down when they tried to activate. But they were hit by one of the light mortars over here. And then our little light howitzer took a shot at the SMG squad, couldn't hit. And then finally, the AA truck ran all the way over here because that gun is the only thing that could touch the Chiha. Unwittingly got within 6 inches of the IED, but it did not blow up. That would have been pretty catastrophic. And our captain is dismounted off the horse and is holding up in the ruins of this house. So that's turn 4. We'll go on to turn 5. All right, turn 6, Viet Minh are closing in. As always, we'll start over on the left. This squad fired the rifles. Did they fire here?
Yeah.
They fired at this squad, and I think they killed a guy. But it looks much worse over here because my AA truck tried to advance, but had to drive past the IED, and on a 6, the IED exploded, hitting both with a 4-inch template. Just pulverized the truck and left 3 guys left in this squad. They rallied because they had 5 pins. The tank over here rallied, got rid of all of its pins. Viet Minh mortar fired at
The smaller tank.
They fired at the little go-kart tankette, but missed. The machine gun fired at this inexperienced squad and took out a guy. This Viet Minh infantry squad assaulted the go-kart but didn't manage to damage it. The go-kart backed up and killed one of them with its machine gun. My lieutenant advanced to get into the fight. My mortar fired at this SMG squad who was back here but missed. My howitzer also fired at this squad and missed. They passed their test and they ran up to get closer to the fight. The forward observer team advanced up, fired and killed one of these inexperienced guys, and this light mortar squad that's way far out on the flank ran forward to try and get in on the action, but it's all closing in here for turn 6. The captain is kind of run into a corner in this rough ground, and we'll see if the Viet Minh can reach him for turn 6 or 7. Here's the real turn 6 overview. This squad advanced and took shots at this squad of regulars. They're down to 1 man, just the NCO with 4 pins. The tank was immobilized, but he took shots over at this squad when it was bigger and at the inexperienced squad. They've been whittled down to 1. The inexperienced squad fired twice at this Viet Minh squad that's made it into the manor, along with the OSS lieutenant. They're coming for the captain, who's on ambush. He's going to stay on ambush through the turn with his pistol. So they're closing in. The mortar fired again at the tankette and missed. The medium machine gun, the Viet Minh medium machine gun fired at this inexperienced squad, whittled them down to 1. Over here, the SMG squad went down, I think, for the 3rd time in this game. But the forward observer came over and killed 2 more inexperienced Japanese over here. The little howitzer that could pivoted and took a shot at the Viet Minh in the manor, but missed. And then the light mortar squad over here advanced and did manage 1 hit on the SMG squad, and I think they only put a pin or 2 on them. So that's turn 5. Yeah, definitely closing in here. Should wrap up in the next turn or so. So let's see what happens. End of turn 6. Looks like turn 7 is going to decide things. Real quick, this lone guy just rallied. He's going to try and run at these guys next turn. They ran down from the hill to get to the captain. The captain and the OSS lieutenant squared off in a duel, and the captain came out on top, took him out with his sword. The tank over here finished off the inexperienced squad that was left. That was down to 1 guy. Viet Minh mortar dropped a mortar on top of the armored car, put a pin on him, but that pin forced an order test when he tried to activate, and he went down. This Viet Minh squad ran outside of the house to have a better line at the captain, which triggered the howitzer's ambush, but he missed. SMG squad went down for the 4th time this game. The observers finished off the inexperienced squad that was here, and the knee mortar squad over here advanced up and took shots at this squad, but missed with all of them. So yeah, turn 7, it looks like captain's a little bit surrounded. He's got 2 squads on either side of him. So it's getting late, it's very cold. We're gonna wrap this up. Alright, first dice of turn 7. Wrapped it up. These Viet Minh rifles came in, assaulted, and yeah, they got the captain. So, assuming that means they captured him because you had to beat him in hand-to-hand combat. So yeah, the Viet Minh have won the day, despite being outnumbered, despite one of their squads going down almost every turn, despite their airstrike coming in on their own units. They managed to pull through. So, it was a super fun game, and I hope you enjoyed this battle report.